most men are too afraid to do what it takes to win. They lie to themselves, dress it up in fake morality, and hide behind a mask of being good, while the world chews them up and spits them out like weak meat. Let's get one thing straight. Life doesn't reward nice. It rewards power. And the man who understands this, who truly grasps the brutal, unforgiving nature of the game, becomes unstoppable, because he plays to win, by any means necessary. And no one understood that better than Niccolò Machiavelli. You've been spoon-fed nonsense about how success comes from playing fair, being polite, and waiting your turn. But that's not how the real world works. That's how sheep think. And sheep get slaughtered. Machiavelli's The Prince isn't a bedtime story. It's a war manual. It doesn't care about how things should be. It exposes how things really are. And if you're not paying attention, if you don't harden your mind and sharpen your strategy, you'll lose to someone who is. So why does this matter to you? Why should the words of a 16th century political thinker still punch you in the gut today? Because the game hasn't changed. The battlefield just looks different. Back then, it was kings, swords, betrayal in dark castles. Today, it's boardrooms, social status, algorithm manipulation, and psychological warfare. But the core rule remains: adapt or perish. Win or be dominated. If you're a man who wants to lead, to dominate your domain, to be respected and not just liked, you need to throw away the childish delusion that life is fair. You need to study power not as some abstract theory, but as a weapon. And no one forged that weapon more precisely than Machiavelli. He didn't romanticize leadership. He dissected it like a surgeon. He understood that morality is a luxury one that only the strong can afford once they've won. And make no mistake, Machiavelli didn't glorify cruelty for its own sake. He wasn't some cartoon villain. He was a realist. He understood human nature, the greed, the fear, the ambition. And he wrote for men who wanted to win in a world where most men lose. This video isn't about turning you into a cold, ruthless tyrant. It's about waking you up. It's about injecting reality into your bloodstream. It's about giving you the blueprint to think strategically, act decisively, and win without apology. If you're tired of playing small, if you're sick of being stepped on while others climb, then keep watching, because what comes next will arm your mind like a loaded weapon. This isn't just about politics or history. This is about life. War, money, power, relationships, it's all the same game. And it starts with one core principle. Perception is power. And the man who controls perception controls reality. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." You've probably heard that before, but do you understand what it means? It's not about being a tyrant. It's about being respected. Respected enough that people don't cross you, because they know there will be consequences. The weak crave love from everyone. The strong command fear from their enemies and loyalty from their allies. Machiavelli wasn't interested in popularity. He was interested in control. Control over outcomes, over narratives, over people. That's where real power lies. And if you want to succeed, not just exist, not just survive, but dominate, then you need to internalize the cold truths of power that most men are too soft to accept. Stop asking, "Is this fair?" Start asking, "Does this work?" In the next sections, I'm going to break down the mindset you need to build if you want to live with the clarity of a strategist and the precision of a kingmaker. This isn't theory, it's the rule book behind every move of the most successful men in history. We're talking manipulation, strategic ruthlessness, long-term thinking, and emotional control. We're going to rip the mask off modern weakness and rebuild your mentality into something lethal. Because if you want to really win, you don't get there by hoping. You get there by mastering the rules and then bending them to your advantage. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to stop being a pawn? Because the next part is going to show you how to start thinking like the one who moves the pieces. Step 1. Understand human nature. Then use it. Machiavelli's genius starts with a brutal truth. Most people are predictable, emotional, and self-serving. And if you can't accept that, you're already losing. He wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. But more than that, people are driven by self-interest. They follow when it benefits them. They betray when it benefits them more. That's the game." Here's what weak men do. They project their own ideals onto others. They assume people are honest, loyal, and well-meaning just because they are. That's how they get blindsided, backstabbed, and steamrolled. Here's what powerful men do. They assume nothing. They study behavior. They watch patterns. They understand that talk is cheap and actions are everything. You want to win in life? Stop expecting people to act like saints. Start expecting them to act in their own best interest and then position yourself as the best option. Want loyalty? Make betrayal costly. Want obedience? Make disobedience dangerous. Want influence? Feed egos, not logic. This is how the world works. Pretending otherwise isn't moral, it's suicidal. If you want to lead, don't waste your time trying to fix human nature. Leverage it. Speak to people's fears, their pride, their vanity, and watch how fast they follow. Step 2. Reputation is a weapon. Forge it carefully. Machiavelli was crystal clear on this. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Read that again. Most of your success will not come from what you actually do, but from how others perceive you. Your reputation is your armor. It's your sword. And if you don't craft it deliberately, someone else will do it for you and use it against you. Let's break this down. You don't need to be the strongest, you just need to be seen as strong. You don't need to be the smartest, you just need to appear competent and dangerous enough that no one wants to test you. You don't need to be fair, you need to be feared for being unfair when crossed. Your image is leverage. It buys you time, opens doors, and protects you from threats. But it only works if you control the narrative. So here's the rule. Be a storm in silence. Let them feel your presence before they see your face. Don't broadcast every move. Don't overshare. Don't try to prove yourself. Let your wins speak. Let your demeanor intimidate. Let your silence say what words cannot. And when it comes time to act, act decisively, and let the shockwave ripple. Step 3. Appear virtuous, but never be a slave to virtue. This is the heart of Machiavellian brilliance, and it's where most men fold. They want to look good. They want to be good. And in doing so, they forget to be effective. Machiavelli said, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." Translation? If you cling to idealism in a world that rewards strategy, you'll be crushed. Not because you're wrong, but because you're irrelevant. You need to look like the virtuous man, calm, kind, composed. But behind that mask, you need to be calculating, ruthless, unshakable. Because life will test you. People will push. And when they do, you don't meet fire with kindness. You neutralize the threat. Does this mean being evil? No. It means being real. You don't have to destroy others to win, but you better be willing to if they stand in your way. Because if you won't, someone else will, and they won't think twice about stepping over your corpse. This is the game of life. And in this game, the man who appears righteous while playing to win, that man rules. So, hold doors open. Smile when appropriate. Speak with grace. But when the moment comes to strike, strike first, strike clean, and strike hard. Because here's the truth, Machiavelli understood better than anyone. Morality is respected, but power is obeyed. Now that you understand the foundation, the mindset that separates winners from losers, the next step is execution. It's not enough to think like a Machiavellian. You have to move like one. You have to strategize like one. You have to control outcomes while others get lost in emotions and illusions. The next section will break down the practical tactics, how to deal with allies, enemies, and the unpredictable chaos of power dynamics. You're going to learn when to strike, when to manipulate, and how to build dominance that lasts. Get ready, because this is where it gets surgical. Step 4. Use your enemies. Don't just destroy them. This is where most men fail. They think power means burning bridges, crushing opponents, and leaving a trail of bodies behind. Wrong. Machiavelli knew better. He understood that an enemy defeated isn't always an enemy destroyed, and that's a good thing. Why? Because enemies are assets. A visible enemy keeps you sharp. A known threat is easier to control than a hidden one. And sometimes, turning an enemy into an ally gives you more power than erasing them ever could. Remember this: hate blinds, strategy clarifies. When you lead with emotion, you miss opportunities. You waste energy chasing revenge instead of results. But when you're cold, calculated, and strategic, you ask a better question. How can I use this situation to increase my leverage? That's what power is. Leverage, control, options. Sometimes, you humiliate your enemy, publicly pour fear into the eyes of everyone watching. Other times, you offer mercy not out of kindness, but because mercy buys loyalty, silence, or favors. The key is control, not vengeance. Let them think you've spared them. Let them be grateful. Let them owe you. Because a man who owes you is a man you own. Don't get emotional. Get surgical. Step 5. Don't trust easily. Build loyalty through self-interest. You've been told to trust your friends, to believe in brotherhood, to value loyalty above all. And while that sounds noble, Machiavelli would call it dangerous. Loyalty isn't born out of love, it's born out of mutual benefit. People stay loyal when it serves them, and they betray when it doesn't. So stop expecting loyalty as a moral virtue. Start designing systems that make loyalty profitable. Here's how you do it. Make yourself valuable. The more someone needs you, the less likely they are to cross you. Control the reward system. Make sure people benefit more by being with you than against you. Always keep a level of uncertainty. Let them know you can be generous, but you can also be devastating. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." That's the world we live in. Circumstances change. People shift. If you don't prepare for betrayal, you'll be caught defenseless when it hits. And it will hit. So build your alliances like a fortress strong, but always under watch. And remember, trust is a tool, not a virtue. Use it wisely, sparingly, and only when it serves your strategy. Step 6. Never let the people see you bleed. Power is perception, and perception is controlled by image. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. He wrote about princes who fell not because they lacked strength, but because they let the mask slip. They showed fear, doubt, weakness. You want to stay in control? Then never bleed in public. Never flinch. Never let them see the cracks. Pain? You endure it privately. Confusion? You solve it in silence. Mistakes? You either correct them quickly or bury them completely. Because the moment you show weakness, the second people sense hesitation, the vultures start circling. Your allies question you. Your enemies get brave. Your influence starts to rot. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being untouchable. Build the myth. Be the man who never panics, never doubts, never breaks. When something goes wrong, you don't collapse, you adapt. When betrayal hits, you respond with calm fury, not emotional chaos. When the storm comes, you're the one building the shelter while everyone else is screaming. Be the eye of the hurricane. Be the force that others lean on, not the one that leans. Because in this world, men follow strength. And strength isn't about muscles. It's about control. Mental. Emotional. Strategic. Step 7. Always play the long game. The average man wants results now. He wants praise now. He wants power now. And because of that, he makes short-sighted moves. He sells out his future for temporary satisfaction. He wins battles and loses the war. Machiavelli's mind didn't work like that. He thought in decades, in dynasties, in consequences. You want to win by any means necessary, then delay gratification. Master patience. You must learn to suffer now for a throne tomorrow. Set traps months in advance. Build relationships you don't even plan to use yet. Plant seeds in people's minds so that when you finally move, they think it was their idea. And when opportunity strikes, move with speed, precision, ruthlessness. This is the paradox. The most dangerous men are the ones who appear slow to act until they strike. Because while everyone else is reacting to the moment, the strategist is orchestrating the future. Think 10 moves ahead. Watch what they don't say. Plan for what they don't see. Because when you control time, when you play the long game, nothing can surprise you. By now, you've seen the blueprint. Machiavelli wasn't just some historical figure. He was a tactician of human nature, a master of perception, and a cold-blooded strategist who knew one thing above all. Victory justifies everything. In the final section, I'll give you the code to seal it all. How to embody this mentality daily, how to walk through life as a weapon, and how to leave behind the weak, indecisive version of yourself forever. Step 8. Become the lion and the fox. This is one of Machiavelli's most iconic teachings, and most men butcher it. He said, "A prince must imitate the fox and the lion, for the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." In plain terms, strength isn't enough. Cunning isn't enough. You need both. Most guys lean too far one way. They're either all aggression, charging through life with zero finesse, burning every bridge in sight, or they're all clever talk, but too soft to enforce boundaries or take decisive action. The lion roars. The fox whispers. The lion conquers. The fox deceives. You need to do both. You need to be able to make people love you while knowing how to make them fear you. You need to be able to deceive when necessary without losing your soul in the process. You need to strike like a beast and vanish like a shadow. If you're only the lion, you'll get tricked. If you're only the fox, you'll get crushed. But when you become both, now you're dangerous. That's the kind of man who rises, the man who adapts, the man who survives every betrayal, every storm, and still walks out holding the crown. Step 9. Control emotion. Project calm, not chaos. If there's one thing that separates the powerful from the pitiful, it's emotional control. Machiavelli didn't say this directly, but his entire philosophy screams it. Let's be clear. Emotion is a tool, not a guide. You don't follow your emotions. You use them to inspire, to intimidate, to manipulate if needed, but never to make decisions. The man who reacts emotionally is the man who gets played. The man who acts emotionally is the man who regrets it later. You want to be feared? Be calm when others are panicking. You want to be respected? Stay composed when insulted. You want to be powerful? Respond with precision, not rage. Never let them see you spiral. Never let them see you sweat. Your enemy wants to pull you into chaos, because that's where you make mistakes. But you? You move in silence, cold, clear, calculated. Remember, kings don't shout. Generals don't panic. The more control you have over yourself, the more control you'll have over everything around you. Step 10. Master the art of timing. You can say the right thing at the wrong time and lose everything. You can make the right move too early or too late and still get crushed. Power isn't just what you do, it's when you do it. Machiavelli understood timing on a level most men today can't even comprehend. He knew that sometimes doing nothing was more strategic than rushing into action. He knew that patience was a weapon, that silence was a strategy. You want to win? Learn to wait. Not out of fear, but because you know something they don't. You know that timing isn't passive, it's lethal when used correctly. Wait for your enemy to overreach. Let him expose himself. Wait for the tension to peak, then strike like lightning. No warning, no hesitation, just impact. The man who understands timing becomes inevitable, because when he moves, the world can't stop him. Step 11. Win in silence. Speak in shadows. Here's the reality. Loud men are rarely in control. They boast, they brag, they broadcast every step because they need validation. The Machiavellian man? He moves in silence. He doesn't need to announce his plans because by the time you see them, they're already done. There's power in mystery, power in restraint, power in saying less and letting your results echo louder than your words ever could. Talk invites criticism. Silence builds anticipation. When they don't know what you're thinking, they don't know how to counter you. Let others talk themselves into traps. Let them show their hand, reveal nothing until you strike. Because when no one sees you coming, you hit harder. That's how you win with whispers and precision, not noise and desperation. Step 12. Burn the old self. You've absorbed the philosophy. You've tasted the mindset. But none of it matters, none unless you're willing to kill the version of you that's been holding you back. The soft version, the passive version, the one who hesitates, doubts, makes excuses, begs for approval, and plays small. That version ends today. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You need a funeral. A funeral for weakness, for indecision, for being average. You have to burn the old self. And from that fire, rebuild yourself as a force. This new version of you, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't apologize for being ambitious. He studies people, plays long-term games, and wins without seeking permission. He wins because he chooses to, not because the world gave him a green light, but because he took it. Machiavelli didn't hand out hope. He handed out weapons. And now you have them. The only question left is, what are you going to do with them? If you made it this far, you're not like most men. Most won't even look power in the eye, let alone pursue it. But you're different. You're hungry. So here's your next move. Rewatch this video, take notes, absorb every principle like your life depends on it, because it does. Print the steps, memorize the mindset, walk into your day like a weapon forged in strategy and sharpened by truth. And if you're ready to level up even further, prove it. Hit that like button, subscribe, share this with someone who needs to wake up. This is not just content, this is war, fuel for winners. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, win by any means necessary.